Okay, I'm gonna make this kind of short. I tried doing this earlier. This is the story about the horrible thing that I had to do in the sake of religion for this kid. This little kid, like I said in the other video, he was a little kid. His father was like kind of friends with me, but he was friends with my mom and her friends, and whatever. And his father was very um, dogmatic within you know being a Jehovah's Witness. He's very strict on this stuff. The family is like kind of like you know like, like really with that shit. It's like okay, but they're not like fucking batshit crazy. But so and this little kid, I'm like kind of his friend and whatever. He's like a little kid, and I'm like to him, I'm an elder to him. Of how he looks up to me and whatever. Because I'm like, oh yeah, I'm with the adults and whatever, and all this, and you know, and he's being told by so many people, even other kids, that I'm really smart, and shit. So one day, I was pulled out of my own class, told to go to his class. I didn't even know who was supposed to go. Like, and then I find out it's this kid. I'm like, his class, whatever. I don't even remember the reason why. It happened so long ago. I had to go to his class. I was forced to. It's like, okay, like why I'm here. And the teacher was talking about his Hanukkah and stuff like that, and stuff like kind of like a fucked up bastardization of like Judaism, and trying to explain to it, and also the menorah, and it's like, uh, yeah, I know more about this. I can explain it better than you, but she didn't say that it was, the oil lasted for, for, 8 crazy nights. They only had a small amount that was only uh, able to keep the lanterns lit for one day, but miraculously, it lasted 8 days. 8 crazy nights. Yeah, instead of wasting it, they learned how to use a wick. That's what they did. They learned how to use a fucking wick with this shit of lamp oil and whatever to to basically honor about the triumphant battle against a small group of Greeks. Most likely they were Macedonians, but either way, there was like a small unit of Greek soldiers, and they were outnumbered, like like 1,000 to 1. It was a shitload of Israelites versus this tiny little Greek unit, a handful of guys that were just really a scouting party, more or less. Just not really a. Guess what? They got these guys. The Greeks got drunk, beat the shit out of the Jews, slaughtered so many of them. The fields ran red with their blood. The land was soaked with the blood of the Israelites. They got tired and walked away. They just walked away. So the remaining Jews said, yeah, we got them on the road. Yeah, we won. Of what's left of them, they come prayed about their great victory against a tiny unit that just really forgot about it. A Greek unit, they're Haletians. They spoke Greek. It's just like, yeah. They just slaughtered a shitload of people. So, anyways, there was these little cakes. I think there was like rice cake, rice cracker. I think that's what it was. Maybe it was a bagel. I know it was something round and smeared with cream cheese. By the way, I don't like cream cheese, especially at that time. I was a kid. I didn't like cream cheese with raisins and stuff. Like, no. The only way I like cream cheese is cheesecake. It has to be baked as a cheesecake. That's it. or cheesecake ice cream. That's it. I ain't gonna have it smeared on shit and eat it. No. I'm like very particular about my cheeses and what I eat it on and how I eat it. It's like, no. Hey, cheesecake, I ain't eating that shit. So I didn't want to eat it because, it just didn't suit me. I didn't like it. It's just like, no, I'm not gonna eat a fucking coaster or whatever. No. Um, but my mom got on the trade though with the rice crackers, and they're the ones we bought were actually quite good, even though they were like some of them were like styrofoam. Like what the fuck? Like yeah, put shit on it. Yeah. Like now you're making it unhealthy. You realize that? Like might as well just eat Rice Krispies. Same shit. No, these are just puffed. Like yeah, the Rice Krispies is flat. So still rice that that's been fried and whatever. So, anyways, I noticed what was on it. It was menorah, and we're not supposed to intake any iconography and other symbols and stuff of other religions. We can respect the other beliefs, but we're not supposed to partake in a lot of religious bullshit of other religious shit, including, even though that we know that Christianity is a derivative. Literally, it was stolen, from a sect of Judaism. Just got hijacked and turned into over centuries what is modern Christianity that's splintered severely. So did Islam. Islam splintered far more than Christianity and Judaism combined. Even Muhammad said so. The Prophet Muhammad, he even said, "You all guys are fucked. Make shahad with everybody, because I am going to die." And I said, "Fuck you all." And said, after I die, you're all going to splinter far more than Judaism and Christianity combined. Like, fuck. He had no faith in his own faith. His own believers. He knew, you're all fucked. Make shahad with everyone. I don't give a fuck. Go Anna Saham yourself. I don't want to say the wrong thing because I'm supposed to be holier than thou. Anyways, it's holding like a stereotypical Asian, like Chinese. It's like horrible shit. Anyways, so yeah. I said to the teacher that he can't have it because of the religious thing, and she's just like, it's just creep cheese and whatever it was, It's like, no, because the iconography. And it's like, yeah, I know what it is, and she's trying to argue, and I just try to take her away from the other kids and explain to her, it's like telling her that his father is very stern and strict within being a witness, and try to explain, And the little kid, he just sees it as like, I forbid him to do it because of religious reasons, and I had to try to tell him that, it's against our faith. Well, his faith technically, because he's with it. I just happen to be dragged into this with like, I didn't want to admit to people the truth, because it's like, you don't want to stick out like a sore thumb and people hating you. Like, how dare you? You're a false Christian. It's like, I'm more of a Christian than you are because I see all the shit of what it really is, and I can point it out like crazy. And I do is teach and correct you on things about where the belief came from and where these things came from. So, and the teacher complained about it to the father and sent it with the kid and whatever. He ended up talking to me about it. I told him what happened and stuff, and specifying, said, and he said I did a good job. That he's told me that he would do the same. He said he's told me I'm gonna smack that shit out of his head. It's like no. He's like, wait a minute. I'm thinking like, wait a minute. You just said that you would have done the same thing, but you also said that you would smack that damn thing out of his head, like knocked it out. Like, fuck no. All right. I'm like, hell no. Okay, have that shit. No. But it did make up. He did have the same thing without the iconography. So, you know, I just try to tell her, just don't have the iconography on it. He can have it as long as it don't have the iconography. That's what I try to explain. But the thing was, she didn't give it to him. I just try to tell her not with the menorah on it. And she's just arguing what it is. I'm saying, but it's in the shape of the menorah. That's a religious significance. You just like kind of belittling Judaism. You're not Jewish, and neither is any of the kids, and you're bastardizing the damn thing. I wanted to say that. I didn't say shit to her like that, you know, like literally tearing her fucking sermon about this. I'm like, why are you talking about religion in class, especially to little kids about this? It's like, sometimes you don't need to explain about religion in school to kids. Like a lot of shit, because some of these kids are very, you know, impressionistic, you know, they can easily be influenced in it and been kind of told the wrong thing about that belief or culture without knowing the full contents and realizing that this teacher bastardized the thing or just literally misrepresented it or just belittled the whole entire system and stuff. It's like, I know what it is, but the message that you're giving is incorrect, and also you can't have iconography. It's like, it's the iconography. Just don't have, you can give it to him, but not in that shape. That's what I tried to tell her. She just didn't fucking get it. And, you know, I just said it to the father. Like, she didn't listen. I just tried to tell her, just, you can have it as long as it's not in the shape of menorah, you know? I was like yeah. I'm gonna knock that shit right out, man. By the way, the father is actually kind of a good guy. We did bike trips. Bike trips. Why am I saying tricks? I don't know. You know, he was more like this guy that was athletic, that was into, you know, health and, you know, good living and being a healthy guy. You know, a dude's dude more or less, but he wasn't like super macho or any of that shit. You know, he didn't have his head stuck up his ass or anything, either whatever. He believed in living good and living healthy and whatever, have a healthy life, and having, you know, a religious life that is also healthy and whatever. But he was also very strict about his religious beliefs and practices that, you know, he's very dogmatic about a lot of this shit. So he's very strict. It's all about this. This kid only thinks is like, I forbid him, and yet this little kid has been told by other kids in our congregation, other kids at school that know me, and telling them how smart I am. I know everything under the sun, you know, and shit. Because little kids, they just think, oh, when they meet me when I was a little kid and stuff, all kids just, when they actually got to hear me speak or whatever and say things, all they tell me is like, I am the smartest person in the world or ever. I'm smarter than God. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm just smart. Yes, I know a lot of shit. The people come and ask me for help and advice or questions. Give me questions for fucking random ass shit. I tell them the answers. Because, you know, in school, you're just rattling out the answers to this shit. Kids know I'm intelligent. A lot of the teachers hated my guts because I'm really smart. So they would say that I cheated. You can't be that smart. You're this little. You can't know this. I know more than you. I know you're fucking wrong. Fucking open up a book. Did you went to college? Did you take actual college level classes and know actual history and science, not fucking bullshit and stuff? Did you really learn? Or you just phoned it in and paid somebody? A lot of teachers told me to shut the fuck up. I had one teacher that, yeah, actually not just one. I had a lot of teachers that told me that I'm a smart ass. A few told me I shut the fuck up, smart ass. And anytime they call me a smart ass, I always had the same answer. I'm sorry that my posterior is far more intelligent than you'll ever be. And why did I tell you to do this? Actually, I do know. It's basically Italian Americans do this more than anybody. Like if you're from New York, you go like this. Same with Jersey. Go like that. That's an older version. That's so much older than this. This is older than this. And this is younger than this. And younger than this. This is far older than this. It was this, and this. In age. It was this is peace. This is fuck you. Peace, fuck you. And when you have your hand raised, it doesn't matter if it's this way or this way, you're asking for like a table for two or two tickets. Not oh yeah, it used to be yeah, that's a Bronx cheer. Boom. It's a Bronx cheer if you didn't know. By the way, I want to explain something about All in the Family. Like Archie Bunker, yes, he is a bigot, but he's not racist. The thing is, he has his beliefs and values. He's friends and fan of Sammy Davis Jr. He even asked Sammy, why do you become Jewish? Did you have enough problems because you're black? Like trying to tell him, but they say black, call him colored. You have enough problems being colored. Why add on a belief system where a whole mess of people hate you even more so because of being Jewish? Like trying to say it nicely, but he also got kissed by Sammy Davis Jr., which is funny as hell. Especially the look on his face, you know. But by the way, even he's kind of frenemies with George Jefferson, who owns a lot of property around the neighborhood where, you know, Archie Bunker lives, and lives in the Lower East Side of Manhattan. By the way, Archie, where he lives is in Queens, and Lower East Side is in Manhattan. They live, you know, is it Upper East Side? Or, yeah. No, they moved on up to the Upper East Side. Yeah, it wasn't Lower, Upper East Side. But basically, they're in the luxury apartments. Because East Side's like good side, West Side's bad side. Especially if you're like in the lower part, lower west, that's not good. If you're in Queens, you're a pisher, you know. It's like, So, anyways, so George Jefferson lives in Manhattan, apartment in the sky, well, penthouse really, owns laundromats and whatnot, and property. in Queens and whatnot. So anyways, like the whole thing with Archie Bunker, listen to what he says about Christianity. When he talks about certain things, he's dumbing down about certain things that are in the Bible. He's not wrong about, by the way, which is fucking really strange and eerie to think about. You have to go, is like, yeah, he's absolutely correct, but he's dumbing it down. So it sounds like he's ignorant, but no, he actually knows his shit, but it's in a simplistic format, you know? And he doesn't know everything, even though he kind of thinks he's a know-it-all, but he knows everything that he knows. But he doesn't spout shit that is complete falsehoods. But he also points out the kind of obvious, and he's from an older generation that rags on the younger generation about, you know, why can't you have the same core values is what I did. But Archie, you are a slut. You did. But it's true, Archie. You cheated on me. You lied to me about it. You fucked the other girl while I was with. By the way, I had other affairs in you. I had other guys in you, Archie. But what? Never mind, I'll tell you. You don't need to know. Don't worry about it. Just know that I'm with you, Archie. Even with the waitress and stuff, like there was a whole thing with the cheating with that. But he's trying to tell her like nothing happened, and she ended up talking to the waitress and ended up telling Archie that after talking to her and finding out, you had no chance in hell with her. You were beyond. She was doing you a favor. Just to acknowledge your existence, Archie. She was just being nice. So, like, she flipped out because, and she kept on fucking, like, going after him about that. Like, by the way, women do that, by the way. But, yeah. So Archie Bunker, he's not completely wrong. Especially when he talks about Christianity. He said a lot of correct things that are within, you know, the Bible and stuff, and the original doctrine and stuff. He ain't wrong, but he's just having a very simplistic version of it. Some of it is like kind of a little twisted, but it's not completely wrong. I mean, you know. It's like, who put who in whose place, you know? Like, Archie thinks he won the argument against against Meathead, and Meathead thinks he won the argument against Archie. And the truth is, neither one actually won the arguments. A lot of times Archie just did was put him in his place and show him. I was like, dude, you know, why can't you be, you know, like a normal, respectable man, you know? Don't go off on a whim and shit and stuff. And plus, Archie has a thing against California. All those fruits. Even though that Archie is friends with cross-dressers. Yes, Archie Bunker has a very close friend that is a cross-dresser. That, you know, cross-dresses by a burlesque. He does a burlesque show for, you know, but cross-dressing, you know, kind of like the female impersonators that, you know, dress and look and sound like women, but usually like trying to depict themselves to be like Dolly Parton or Cher or whatever, you know, actress or singer, like, you know. And a lot of them actually do a really good job. And some people have actually done what too obsessed with to being that person, they got breast surgery for it. Even though when the costume goes off, they're a guy, but now they have to bind themselves, make themselves look like just a big guy, and really they're more body shaped like a woman now because they're like too obsessed with that particular persona. But they're still, into women. Like he has friends that are gay, lesbian. Like Edith has a friend that's a lesbian. Um, One that is the transsexual and stuff. Well, going to be considered transsexual and whatever. You know, person that actually cross-dresser, being a transvestite, but wants to be female, but didn't go through the surgery, and and plus that term of being transgendered wasn't really something that was talked about at that time and wasn't really brought into the media. If you really think about it, a lot of things that you would consider taboo at the time was actually shown and told about, had stories around characters that were not fit into, that box of being a straight white person. There's a plethora of peoples, Puerto Ricans and stuff like that, which you don't mind Puerto Ricans. You just don't, you mind still being in their house, except for this one lady that Edith is friends with her and he doesn't mind, but she, Edith, rent the room to the lady, and when Archie found out that this Puerto Rican woman was a crazy boyfriend that was stalking her, there was an ex-boyfriend, so he went into protective mode with her. It's like, no, she's staying here. Despite that, I have a thing against, people that are not of us living in my house, because he really didn't want to rent the house, rent a room out. He didn't want to really do that. He was really against it because he wants to act like he's for it, but he'll do everything he can to go and make sure nobody rented a room. Just, that's how he is. He's just like, Edith wanted to do that and saying, oh, we could do is earn extra money on this, and he's like trying to saying like, I can still provide and whatever, but Archie, this will be extra, it can help us with, blah blah blah. We can get $300, like $300, yeah, a month. Are you kidding me? $300? I'm thinking that, because you have to understand, this is like early mid 70s. That's a lot of money for rent for a room, but room in a house in Queens. So it's like, sure. And then but he doesn't, he's all for the money, but he doesn't want people actually moving in. So it's like, but when that Puerto Rican lady explained it, and same thing with Edith, how to say what it is, he went in, like I said, he went in protective mode and said, no, she ain't going to leave, and we'll do everything. And came the door was this angry, Puerto Rican guy. And he hurts his hand on this guy's face and whatever. And the guy's still pounding, don't open it, the door or whatever. And open up, finding out the guy got hit by Archie or whatever. The Puerto Rican lady's like, man, what you hit my brother? She hits Archie. I didn't know. He's like, no, what are you telling me? And even Arya had said to the guy, why didn't you tell me who you were? In the episode, the guy was so obsessed about her, wanting to know, wanting to get in, didn't say who he was, didn't tell Archie who he is, how he's connected with her. He could have said, yeah, I'm her brother. If she's here, yeah, just let her know I came to see her, The guy was too fucking, arrogant and trying to shove his way in, you know, and not explaining who the fuck he is. After Archie was told she has a crazy ex-boyfriend that will hunt her down and will literally hurt her. And in Archie's mind is that, Latin people are, have hot tempers and they are very violent, especially the men are very violent to the women. That's how Archie believes. So he also believes that Puerto Ricans are even more violent, especially Puerto Rican men are highly more agitated and violent, because you have to understand he lives in the New York area, in the, one of the 5 boroughs. That's what he sees. He was a taxi driver, he's done a lot of different jobs, and he's seen how violent these people get, and other races and whatnot. If you grew up like how he did and saw the more violent of other ethnicities like how he did, then you would have the same twisted views as Archie does about the rest of these peoples, like, even though it's a small group that were horrible of a certain race, he transposed it as the whole entire race is like that. That whole ethnic group is like that. No, it's just that small group that he ran into are like that, not all of them. Because, yeah, there's a lot that are horrible, but there's a lot that are good. I've run a lot of Puerto Ricans that are fabulous people, that are fun, that are nice, but I've also met a lot that are horrible. Usually I've met was more males that were really nice, and I typically run into the females that were actually very horrible. Not really in Puerto Ricans that were horrible, but there is like kind of quite a few Puerto Rican women I ran into that were actually kind of horrible. Just depending on how much generation away from they are and their upbringing, and usually finding out that no, they're not like the ones in Puerto Rico, they're just horrible variants of them. Same thing with people from Colombia. I've known a lot of Colombians that are good and bad, and I've noticed is that the women you can't really trust too well, because they're taught at a very young age to their money is their money, but their man's money is also their money. They're supposed to marry rich and whatnot, and they're really obsessed with skin color and shit, Yeah, it's a lot of countries around in northern part of South America are really obsessed with lighter skin, because that means you're wealthy, that you're not connected to the blacks and other working class peoples, living in the jungles and whatever, being in the sun, getting burnt and whatever, dark and whatnot, that you're not mixed bloods, that you're more Spaniard than anything else, but you want to be more, you have your cojones, your anyways. God. So, yeah, even though that he's a bigot and he has some kind of weird racist views, but it's from his upbringing and what he's seen and been exposed to that twisted his view about people. And but no matter what his views are, if a woman is in danger, he will step in. If it's a guy, especially if it's a young man that is being attacked or wrongfully unjust, he will defend them, even though they're not of his ethnicity, not the same skin color as him. He will back them up, he even tries to fight. Yeah, he has a friend that's Jewish. For God's sakes, he has like one of his best friends is Jewish. That is really Jew. You know, and this guy doesn't like his daughter marrying a Puerto Rican. Was the guy Puerto Rican or was he Colombian? Either way, the guy came from from Florida or whatnot. Very Hispanic and stuff, and she married him, and her father denounced her and just she only came back to tell her dad is like, here's a picture of your grandchild, and you will never see the grandchild. You will never see me again. Whatever, And Archie stepped in and said, like, dude, this is your daughter. That is your grandchild. And whatever. It's like, the guy's like, but Archie, you will have the same point of view as me. Yeah, but this is your kid. This is your child and your grandchild. Family means more than anything. So what? She married a guy. You're not married to him. What even worse is that it wasn't just a other race. She married a guy that wasn't Jewish. That's how Jew he is. So you didn't marry a Jewish guy. Like, so what? Even it's like, we believe in the same God. Like, trying to argue the point. It's like, no, Jesus just happens to be his son. Your God is my God. We have the same fucking God. And that's what Archie tries to claim, specify, which is true, it did work out where he ended up, the Jewish guy ended up hooking up with this daughter again, not hooking up in that way, but getting in touch with her again and start having a father-daughter relationship, and got to see his grandchild and stuff. And she wanted to have this, and she even thanked Archie for meddling in and for straightening her dad out that this is family. Like, do you want to grow old and die and never see your kid ever again? Because Archie has a kid, has a daughter, and has a grandchild. Him being taken away from his grandchild devastates him. He's like, no, that he's family, I don't, he likes his grandchild around, he's the grandfather, whatever, grandpa. Even though he doesn't like the husband, his daughter's husband, Meathead doesn't really like him that much, but it's her daughter and her kid. That's what matters, their kid. And that's what you try to explain to this guy. Is like, they're family. Who cares who she married? Then you ain't married to him. So what? Suck it up. You don't have to live with him. She does. She has to put up with this shit, Yeah. So, I know I rattle on about a lot of stuff, but that's kind of the nonsense that goes on.